Hey, my life coaches, this video is for you. I want you to succeed in 2025, making more money and paying less in taxes, and I've got the perfect tax and legal plan for you. Now, my name is Mark J. Kohler. I'm a CPA, attorney, best-selling author. I've been in the tax and legal industry for 25 years. But more importantly than that, I love you. I know you. I love life coaching. I have listened to countless podcasts of Brooke Castillo, and she has changed my life personally. But it's more than that. I've been to events of Brooke Castillo and saw her live. I even married a master certified life coach, Patty Britt Campbell, who is speaking at the World Economic Forum this year on life coaching. Patty even received her master certification from Molly Claire and Amy Gianni, goats in the life coach school. I had Jody Moore on my podcast. I have a life coach I meet with every week. And I even hired a life coach, Deb Anderson, to coach all of the attorneys in my law firm. And with all that said, I can't wait till my wife and I are gonna beat Brooke on the pickleball court. Watch out, Brooke, we're coming for you. And thank you so much for letting me joke around a little bit. I want you to be confident about who you're hearing from and the information you're receiving. Now, before I get into my action items, oh yeah, I know the action line. I think we should do a model. So let's start with our circumstance. You are a new life coach. And the thought is, I know nothing about tax and legal. And of course, what's your feeling gonna be? I'll bet fear. Now we could have all sorts of actions, right? Or inaction. We're gonna do nothing, make poor or bad decisions just because it's convenient or it sounds good. And what's the result? I didn't save any taxes and I didn't learn anything. And we just proved our thought true. Wow, how about that? Let's do an intentional model. Same circumstance, I'm a new life coach. But what's an intentional thought? I'm gonna kill it with my tax and legal planning. Now, maybe that was a thought swap, right? We gotta have a bridge thought that could get us there. Maybe it's, I'm going to learn what I need to save more in taxes this year. But what's our feeling? Confidence. And what's our action? We're gonna listen to the rest of this video and write down some things to do. And with all those actions, we're gonna learn and save and prove our thought true. So there we are. Let's hit it. I want to give you those items you need to do this year to have more success. Number one, you got it. It's mindset. You own a business now. Being a life coach is a business. And Brooke talks about that all the time. And that's okay. We got to own it. This is a great thing. You now have the gateway drug to the American dream. This little business is going to make you money and you're going to be able to take awesome tax write-offs as a small business owner. So think of it as a business, not just being a life coach. Now, when you do that, we've got to follow it up with some confidence building, some education. I've got a great podcast, the Main Street Business Podcast, millions of downloads, 500-600 episodes. Go start choosing some of the topics that may resonate with you. Hiring my children, having a home office, building the business, putting money in a retirement account, sales, marketing, all those sorts of things are in a great Main Street Business Podcast. I've got some books. On my website, I have suggested reading. I have so much to offer to help you on your path to building that American dream from a tax and legal source. And remember, be careful of where your sources come from. Now, I know it's hard to find information that you can understand on the tax and legal arena. So I try to make all of my podcasts fun and interesting. I've got a robust YouTube channel where you can see diagrams and I go through so many different topics. But be careful where you get your tax and legal information. If they don't have the credentials or the experience to be giving it, just take it, catalog it, and then go verify. Now, number two, let's get into some more brass tacks. I want to go back to the whiteboard and talk about the trifecta. Now, what the trifecta is about, and we do this with all of our clients in the law firm and accounting firm over the years, is we want to build a picture. What is our plan? What does it look like? If we can visualize it and see it, we can make it happen. And we want to see where this business fits in our overall structure. So if you were to do a consult with one of our lawyers, you don't have to. I got so much information out there, but this is what we'd want to do is build this picture, and we call it the trifecta. And it starts with your revocable living trust, or at the bottom of all this is your tax return, kind of where all of your income and all of your businesses are going to flow. We divide your life in half, and we're going to put operations on the left and assets on the right. Now, on the operations side, this is where your life coach business is going. I'd like you to start with an LLC. We'll come to that in a moment because we're going to convert it to an S corporation when the time is right. And I'll come back to the structuring of this. But on the left side is where we put all of our revenue from selling product or services or coaching. On the right side is where we put our assets. And this is going to be maybe where a 401k is, an IRA, a Roth. It could even be a rental property. We're going to have rentals or notes or investments in an LLC here. We're going to have a different LLC for our assets than our LLC for operations. Think of it like this. This is the dentist. This is the dental building. This is the realtor. This is their rental property. This is the life coach. This is their short-term Airbnb. So you're building wealth over here with your profits, deploying them on the asset side. This will create passive income. This will create ordinary income. Now, the final piece is putting all of our assets over here. Your trust should own your home. You might have life insurance, all these other things that start to build long-term wealth. But your business is that goose laying the golden egg. We want to take profits here after all the write-offs we can to build this wealth over here. Now, this is kind of the 30,000 foot view, but now we can narrow in and go, okay, Mark, that makes sense. I see where my life coach business is at. Now, how do I build this out so I don't have to worry about it and I can do what I'm good at? Boom. Now let's get back to our list. Number 3 is I want you to have this LLC for a reason. The LLC does not save taxes. Let me repeat this for everybody. A limited liability company does not save taxes. It's there to create a structure we can build upon. In the long run, we're going to convert that to an S Corp. We may even convert it to an S Corporation this year, but we start with the LLC and we set up the LLC in the state where we live. If I live in Wyoming, I set up a Wyoming LLC. If I live in Georgia, I set up a Georgia LLC. I do not go set up a Nevada corporation or some crazy thing you might read on the web. Set up the entity where you live. Then go open the bank account, get your EIN, start using that separate banking, maybe allocate a credit card to that company, and you're going to start with this LLC building your brand. Now, this is level 1, just having that LLC in place. It kind of gets you out the gate. Now, your brand might be a separate URL, like Best Coach in the World, DBA, or URL, www.bestcoachintheworld.com. But your company could be Jones Enterprises. You could have the same name as your coaching business as your LLC, but you don't have to. So if you already have an LLC for some reason or another, you've had a small business for a while, you can add coaching to the mix and keep the same entity. I don't want you to have multiple entities. Now, again, if you're already swimming going, oh my gosh, I need someone to help me plan all this. Great. I'll have the link to the law firm down below where you can have an affordable consultation if you want to kind of get that reevaluated or set up that new company. Number 4, and we want to start this right away, and that's tracking expenses. You may even just use an Excel spreadsheet. Think of any expense you've incurred even before you got certified as a life coach. Cell phone, dining, home office, travel, equipment, laptops, iPads, cameras, studio equipment. You're going to be on Zoom all day long, and I love what Brooke does to help you elevate yourself when you're on camera with your clients. All of that equipment, the lighting, tripods, everything, it's a tax write-off, but you got to write it down and keep the best records you can. Well, Mark, I didn't have a business account yet. Doesn't matter. Write them all down in an Excel spreadsheet, like I said, just to track them bare minimum. Now, in the long run, you're going to get used to QuickBooks. Some of you probably already know QuickBooks really well. That's great. But we want to just make sure we don't lose those deductions before you even made your first dollar, because we can write them off as a startup cost. And when you go to your accountant with all these write-offs, they better be excited to help you put this together, or I'll give you a resource to my network of accountants that speak Mark Kohler. But track all those expenses. Now, some people ask too, well, do I need the receipts, Mark? Receipts are audit protection. If you get audited 3 or 4 years from now, which is usually what happens in the rearview mirror, they're going to say, where are those receipts? Scan them, take a picture of them, put them somewhere. That's cool. But receipts are not bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is now using our business bank account to collect all that revenue from our clients, whether they pay us with Venmo or Stripe or PayPal or Zelle, whatever. You collect money the easiest way you can, pay for all your expenses out of the business. In the long run, you'll get into that habit. But in the meantime, if you pay cash or use a credit card for some of these other expenses, just write them all down somewhere and track them. Very important for your tax planning this year. Now, before I mention some advanced tax strategies here in a moment, let's go to step 5. Now, step 5 is leveling up our LLC. We want to go to the S Corporation when you start making around $40,000 to $50,000 a year. Now, as you get certified, a life coach should be making more than 50 to 100 grand right out of the gate within that first 12 months. No pressure, and don't compare yourself to others. Manage that mind of yours. But that's where we want to head with this. So the LLC is really there to build the structure. And then let me show you why we're going to go to an S corporation. And you need to understand this, but I'll keep it brief. Okay, we're going to compare level 1 LLC to your next stage, which is your S corporation, which you may do this year. You got to know this. So if you're an LLC, you're basically a sole prop, which means you're going to do a tax return on a Schedule E. That's where you're going to do your tax return. Well, what happens is, let's say you bring in 100 grand. I mean, that could very well be 20 clients this year at 5 grand a pop, right? And then you write off 30, 40 grand in expenses. I mean, we write off everything we can. Cell phone, dining, travel, auto, marketing, the coach school, whatever, everything, right? And we net 60 grand. Well, you're going to pay self-employment tax of 15.3%. What? That's 9 grand out of the gate. Then you're going to pay Fed and state. So you're getting nailed 3 times. This self-employment tax is a killer. And whether you're a new landscaper, dentist, architect, attorney, CPA, any small business owner, selling online, restaurant owner, this self-employment tax is a killer. But we all move over to the S corporation when the time is right. And I see this time when you're about 50 to 60 grand or more in profit. Now, let me warn you, it's super complicated and expensive to do this. We charge $300. Boom. Your bank account doesn't change. Your EIN doesn't change. Your company name doesn't change. We just change your classification with the IRS. Yes, I was being passive aggressive. It is super easy to do. And so what we would do is file this special form this year sometime and backdate it to 1/1/25. Now, when we do that, we're going to take the same income, the same expenses, and you net 60, but we're going to do what's called this K1 salary split. Now, this is at the most minimal, easiest level. We might take 30 grand in a W-2 and 30 grand in pass-through income. And when I split that income, I'm only paying FICA or the self-employment tax on this half. This is why you're going to hear it at a lot of conferences. The coaches say, oh, I'm an S Corp and I put myself on payroll. This is why they did that, because I only pay the self-employment tax here. So instead of paying $9,000, I only pay $4,500. You just cut that bill in half. So let me get, Mark, it's going to cost me $1 grand or $2 grand to be an S Corp. So let me see, spend $2 grand, save $4,500. Easy math. Now, why I say spend $2 grand, you got to do an S Corp tax return. So this is going to be around $1,000 or so, and then you got to do payroll reports. But it's after the fact, easy paperwork to do when you have the right accountant, and it doesn't have to be expensive. So you may graduate to this in 2025, and you want to be thinking about this. This is why you're listening to my podcast or watching the YouTube channel, so that you can feel this when it's coming. Rich people geek out on taxes. Wealthy people love to plan. This is the #1 cost in your business. We got to prepare for it. Okay, now that was just an overview, but that's all you need to worry about right now. You're the captain of your ship, knowing where you're headed. Now, finally, I want to give you step 6, which is the more advanced tax strategies, just to wet your whistle and have fun. One of the important strategies I love is getting your kids on payroll, getting your family on payroll, because they may be helping you with the business, stuffing envelopes, cleaning the office, shredding paper, maybe even helping with a rental property or other business projects you have going on. Well, I want to take tax write-offs for their cell phones and their help in the business. I want to be writing off your travel to hold your family board meeting on a regular basis. You're going to be traveling to conferences. You're going to be doing business as a life coach all over the world, if you will. In fact, I know this year, Amy Gianni is holding some life coach retreats in Hawaii. That's a tax write-off for everybody to go to that as they build their business with business training to go get this coaching. See, I want you to start realizing that everything you're doing is to build your business. As you come to the plate with that mindset, now I can write off so many more expenses, because you're not just going to Hawaii, you're going to a conference. I hear it's going to be a lot of work and no fun. So, that's why it's a write-off. Well, everyone, thank you so much for giving me a few minutes here. Again, I've got books on Amazon, my podcast, the YouTube channel. I'm here in this journey with you. And I love life coaching. As you know, it's one of the fastest growing industries in the country. And I love Brooke and what she's doing, building this army of life coaches that are changing lives. I too want to help the business owners of America build their American dream. And if we don't deal with the tax and legal, we make it so much harder on ourselves. So I'll be there right along your side, helping you with your journey. So Brooke and all of you, thank you for changing my life. And I hope I can change your life too.